as a country and as a people, you have to try as much as possible to practice strategic sufficiency, self-reliance in many aspects of your economy, in many areas of your economy. Because right now, you're relying on a global supply chain that does not even favor you. Too many times when there is a disruption in the global supply chain, you will notice that your own economy, your own local economy, usually don't even have any shock to absorb some of this disruption in the global supply chains. And again, you're relying on institutions such as IMF and the World Bank that are not built to favor developing economies such as Nigeria and other developing economies in Africa. They tend to give you suggest policies to you, policies that doesn't even favor you, neoliberalism or liberal policies. And a lot of the times, these liberal policies have only caused more poverty in your own country. And again, you are relying on these institutions. This institution, of course, you know that these institutions, basically from the inceptions, they were not even built to favor the African economy. So you are relying on the global supply chain that you do not even have any control of. And then you are relying on institutions you do not build. You are using the recommended policies they give to you to implement in your own economy. And too many times these policies don't also favor you, of course. And then you are using development models that are not built by your own economies, that are not built by your own people. Indigenous policies. Too many times these policies are influenced by these big international institutions. So you have to, as much as possible, try to practice self-reliance as an economy. And that is the only way to achieve growth, real growth and development. Until you are able to look inward and begin to find solutions inward, then you just might never be able to attain certain level of growth and development. If you look at it from this point or from this perspective, self-reliance in this context simply means that you have to look at what they're asking you not to do, what they're asking you to avoid. So you have to try as much as possible to allow your own local economies or local, the states and the local government, you have to allow them to practice to a large extent some amount of autonomies. And this autonomies has to come from self-reliance in areas that has to do with the most essential items or commodities that you need in your economy, such as energy, healthcare, primary healthcare, then education. You have to allow them to be self-reliant also on food production, to some extent as well on security and transportation and all of that. You have to give them that real power to be able to generate their own money and spend their own money within these essential areas. These autonomies should be so real that it shouldn't have to do with paper autonomy. Let it be real. Let it be something that people are seeing. Until you are able to have that, then you just might never be able to have real growth and real development. Every local government or every state must be able to identify one commodity in which they have comparative advantages so that they can be able to invest in it properly and see how they can when I'm talking about investment, we're not talking about things that has to do with just primary products. Because you think you're good when it comes to yam production, you also have to go into real processing of those commodities. If it is lithium, you have to process it in your own local economy. Likewise, all those mineral resources and likewise those agricultural resources, you must be able to harness these resources and of course transform those resources into the finished goods rather than exporting those items. Recently, I saw on the headline that the current federal government led by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is trying to identify, which is similar to what President Obasanjo did back then. They're trying to identify one commodity that every local government in Nigeria will be able to produce so that they can export. But as much as you continue to export raw materials, then again, in the longer term, you just might never still be able to attain those growth and development, except if you're doing that in the short term. You have to be self-reliant. You have to look inward. You can't continue to import food when you have a population of more than 200 million people. You have all these arable lands. It doesn't just make any sense. Because we know the price of all the goods and of all goods, I mean, food, agricultural commodities. I mean, as it stands right now, the prices of all the agricultural commodities are dropping because of importation. For how long are you going to continue imports? Are you going to continue importing goods into the country? So as a country, you have to be self-reliant, self-sufficient in many aspects or many areas. In fact, in almost all these sectors in your economy. I'm talking about energy, education, transportation, logistics, distribution, good road network, production, processing, and all of that. You have to try as much as possible to be self-reliant. If you don't, then you're going to continue to rely on this global supply chain. And each time there's a disruption, you're going to continue to have problems. I mean, lots of problems, big problems.